Long by the door, and the seeds of the summer have spoken, and daisies that bloom on the shore. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away as we waken to earth, our home. Gentle and bright is the eye of the dove, and start is the heart of the stem, rejoicing in rivers and valleys below as we bite at the height of the crag. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away as we waken to earth, our home. So long may you sing of the salmon and the snow-scented sands of our home, while the north wind delivers its sermon, ice and salt water and stone. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away as we waken to earth, our home. As the dawn dances over the bay, sleep blows the breath of the morning away as we waken to earth, our home. As we honor the earth, our home.
So being in front of you guys makes one nervous, right? Because you got all these eyes staring at you. But hearing that music, poof's gone. Hey, y'all! I did this a few weeks ago when I was here, and it felt good for me. And join me if you care to. If you don't want to, feel free. Close your eyes and take a real deep breath, and let it out twice as slowly. Okay, open your eyes. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our Earth Day service here at UUCSS. I am Brian Hopkins, and I am today's worship associate, and my pronouns are he, his, and him. Today in the worship, we will learn about Earth Day and how it began. We will share our sadness about the ways the earth is hurting because of the way people live. And we will make promises to ourselves and to each other about how we all will help care for this earth of ours, so that it may continue to be here. It may continue to be a good home for people, for creatures, for many, many years to come. Today's special music guests, and you all have heard them already, they are here with us for the third time since visiting us first in 2014. Welcoming Jennifer Cutting and the Ocean Celtic Quartet. Now you all are in for a treat because they're going to be playing some earth-friendly music, some of which is from their newly released album, The Turning Year. I'm sure she can tell you how to purchase it if you care to. And special guest appearance on the album is our own Michael Holmes. All right, where's Pat Halsebosh? There she is, she's in the back. She is our welcoming captain. If you're visiting here for the first or second time, either in person or online, she will be able to answer your questions on the chat. And she will also be around during a virtual coffee hour after the service. So if you have any questions in person, you can see her, or if you're online, just say, hey, Pat, blah, 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 blah. All right, Zoomers, we got something special for you. Zoomers, I want you to start turning on your cameras if you haven't done so already, because we're going to try something really cool today. We are going to greet one another across the platform divide. Kind of sounds like the final frontier, doesn't it? Those here in the sanctuary with me. I invite you to turn to the camera over here and everybody wave to all those at home. Hey, Zoomers, everybody say hi. Everybody say hi. Hi. All right, hands down. All right, you at home, this is your chance. Look at that. How cool is that? Now,
Thank all of our wonderful tech volunteers.
Yep. Now, we're a community, right? We're also a family. Every day when I walk up from my car, I stop and I realize how wonderful it is to see Michael, to see Charles, to see Jeremy, to see Reverend Kristin, and how much of a family you guys are to me. And it's so great to be here in this community. I want to thank all of the volunteers who have helped to make today's service possible. Later on in the service, the screen will show you a list of names so you too can thank them. Now, if you are tuning into the service today on Zoom, I invite you to grab a candle and something to light it with, so you can join us in a moment as we light our chalice here in the sanctuary. But first, let me welcome Michael Holmes to guide us in our opening hymn, number 163, found in your gray hymnal, For the Earth Forever Turning. The words of all hymns will be on your screen.
Let's rise.
So.
For the earth forever turning, for the skies for every sea, for our lives, for all we cherish, sing we our joyful song of peace. For His hills and pastures in their silent majesty. For the stars, for all the heavens, sing we our joyful song to peace. For the sun, the rain and thunder, for the seasons harmony, all our lives, for all creation, sing we our joyful praise to thee. For the world we raise our voices, for the home that gives us birth. In our joy we sing return.
All right. Please join me in the words on the screen as we light our chalice and reaffirm our, I always say want a congregational, I want to say congressional is what I want to say. So I even put slashes in between. Okay. May this light warm our hearts with love and caring and guide us in the ways of truth. As we gather here for worship, we pledge ourselves to the endless search for truth, to the right of each to believe, as mind, heart, and conscience dictate, to accept this responsibility this freedom commands, and to implement our belief in the essential worth and dignity of every human being. May it be so.
Thank you, Brian.
Since what we choose is what we are, and what we love we yet shall be, the goal may ever shine afar, the will to reach it makes us free.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see so many of you here on this beautiful morning. Even though it was officially on Friday, like a lot of congregations, we are celebrating Earth Day today. Earth Day is a day to celebrate the Earth, this planet we share with all other living things. It's also a day to mourn the ways human activity has harmed our planet. It's a day to learn about the ways human beings can make changes in how we travel and farm and eat and provide power to people so that they don't keep hurting the earth. And it's a day to commit making changes in our own lives. But how did Earth Day begin? Who made it into a holiday and why? Settle into your seat for a video about Senator Gaylord Nelson and why he created the first Earth Day.
You hear the word ecology. That's a big science, not a narrow one. It's a big concept. And it is concerned with all the ramifications of all the relationships of all living creatures to each other and their environment.
This is me with my father. My name is Tia Nelson, and my dad was Gaylord Nelson. He is known as the father of Earth Day, a vision he had for teachers all across the country to talk about the environment. Maybe you've heard of Earth Day. Maybe you've even participated in an Earth Day event. Before he was the father of Earth Day, before he was my dad, he was a little boy growing up in Clear Lake in northern Wisconsin. He loved spending time outdoors, exploring the forests, lakes, and streams of the region. Nature was his playground. As he was growing up, he also got to know the world of civics and government through his parents.
And so I went to political meetings with my father and my mother from the time I was in grade school. And whenever a speaker came within driving distance in our Model T Ford, the way we went, 40, 50, 60 miles sometimes, just to hear somebody, hear one of the LaFollettes give a speech.
My father was inspired, and he started thinking about a future for himself, running for elected office. That stayed with him as he went to college and then law school, through his time in the U.S. Army during World War II. When he came back to Wisconsin, he was ready to get his career in politics going. He ran for the state senate and then for governor of Wisconsin. As governor, he worked on government reform, social justice causes, and environmental issues. He created new jobs for young people, designated lands for public parks, and worked to conserve our beautiful lakes and rivers. He accomplished a lot for the people of Wisconsin, and he wanted to make an even bigger impact. So he ran for the U.S. Senate to represent Wisconsin citizens in the nation's capital, and he won. But when he got to Washington, D.C., he found out that others in government just didn't seem to care about the environment as much as he did. A national conservation tour with President Kennedy didn't accomplish what he hoped it would. And few senators would support the laws that he proposed to protect our environment. Some years later, he went to visit the site of an oil spill and was devastated by the damage he saw. On the plane ride home, he read an article about anti-war teach-ins on college campuses. That's when he got an idea.
Teach-ins on the campuses, teach-ins on the Vietnam War. And I thought, that's a good idea. Why can't we have a nationwide, quote, teach-in on the environment? That's where the concept of Earth Day came from.
The idea for a teach-in about the environment started to spread well beyond my dad's original vision. And when the day came, April 22nd, 1970, people all over the country participated. That day, the first Earth Day, marked the start of many changes to come over the next 10 years. They passed laws to keep pollution out of the air and water, so many laws that it became known as the Environmental Decade. My father was elected to 3 terms, serving 18 years in the U.S. Senate. Even after he was finished, he never stopped fighting for the environment. When asked at the age of 88 why he still went to work every day, he said, because the job's not done. And he's right. There's still so much more to do.
I don't think there's any other issue viewed in its broadest sense, which is critical to mankind, as the issue of the quality of the environment in which we live.
Earth Day lives on, as does the need to protect and care for the place we call home. Each of us has the power to help make the world a better place. It's up to you and me to do our part.
So we're going to learn a little bit more about Earth Day later on in the service, but now it's time to listen with our bodies and our minds and our hearts for the sharing of joys and sorrows. If you feel moved to share something with the congregation, I invite you to come forward and speak into the microphone, and Brian can help you light a candle if you wish. And while people come forward, I have 2 sorrows to share with you this morning. The first is, the candle is for our Assistant Minister of Spiritual Growth, Reverend Dr. Laura, whose grandmother sadly died last week. Laura was a big part of collaborating on today's service and would have been here today, but she's right where she should be with her family. So please hold Laura and her family in your heart and your prayers today. And the second candle I will light in a moment is for my dad. Yesterday evening, he took a tumble and he broke his femur bone and had to have stitches in his scalp. So our family will appreciate your prayers for his smooth and swift recovery. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jeanette Jackson. I have a concern about my husband, John Acton, who fell off his motorcycle yesterday and broke, judging from the x-ray pictures he sent me, broke his tibia and fibula very badly on his supposed good leg, which is, he's down in the wilds of some rural place in Virginia, because that was the whole point. He was on a ride to, called Backroads Discovery Ride. So he was with other people, and hopefully somebody's going to try to get both him and the bike, which is fine, home today. And then, of course, the way things are these days, then you have to find the surgeon that fixes it. I mean, they just have it more or less bound up so we won't hurt it anymore. But just a reminder that anything can happen at any moment. Yeah.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
Good morning. I'm Deborah Weiner. On Thursday, I turned 70, and I know you all know that, and I appreciate the very many well wishes I received. Very meaningful to me, and thank you. On Friday, I had surgery on my breast to remove a lesion. That all went very well, and I'm feeling well. I don't have the results yet, but I expect that to be a good outcome, and not too worried about that.
And I'm Jan Harrelson, and I've had a challenging year health-wise, and you guys have been an enormous support. Just when I thought it was all behind me, a couple of days ago, I got results from an MRI that I have a large mass in my abdomen pelvic area, and they suspect it's malignant. And I'll be seeing a gynecologic oncologist on Tuesday. Surgery needs to be as quickly as possible. And so that's a whole new scary thing that I'll be, I just wanted to share with you, and love the support of this community.
Sorry for you.
Thank you all.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
I have a joy that I'm in an environmental club at my school, and we are currently working on a project where we're going to go to a Board of Education meeting for Prince George's County to try to spread information about a topic about trying to help the environment. And we are currently working on that right now. And I just wanted to let everyone know that everyone should do their part, and that everyone is doing it.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
Hi, I'm Zoe Randall, and I have a joy to share, which is that my mother is in town this weekend. And not only is she in town, but we're helping her celebrate the reading series of her second published book of poetry. And I'm just very proud of her, and that my family gets to see that part of her life.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
I'm Esther, and I want to share a sorrow that my brother, Alan, has stage 4 kidney disease. So your good thoughts are very welcome. I didn't know I had this brother and only met him until I was grown. Wow. 2 brothers, so thank you.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held and loved beyond belief.
Hi, I'm Olivia Pickett, and you can tell I had rotator cuff surgery, and I'm doing quite well, thank you. But my concern is that my sister's husband fell a few days ago and had a moderate stroke. And he's in rehab, and he's getting better, but they have a discharge date scheduled for May the 7th, and they're giving her information to measure places in the house where a wheelchair would fit. And they're making the den into a bedroom so he can sleep downstairs, but the door to the bathroom isn't wide enough for a wheelchair, so they're trying to figure out how to do that. They can't really rebuild it without taking out a closet, but maybe they'll have to do that. But anyway, he is getting better, and his whole life has changed because he is Mr. Gregarious, go out every day, drive to visit his friends, act in the little theater, and all that, and that's just, I don't know when any of that will ever start up again, but if you'll think about Dan, I'll appreciate it.
In every joy and sorrow, we're held in love beyond belief.
I have a joy that next week I'm going camping.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
I have a joy that today's the ice cream day.
Yes! Good joy. In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
I have a joy that my mom's birthday is coming soon on May 1st, and she's going to be having a party at Bladensburg Waterfront Park.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeanette Jackson, and I have a joy to share with you. My daughter was diagnosed with breast cancer 4 years ago, and she's a survivor. That's a joy.
Yes.
She had a series of reconstructive surgeries to claim back her body, and she had the last of 3 surgeries, and she's doing magnificently well. That's my joy.
In every joy and sorrow, we are held in love beyond belief. There is so much love and concern and care in this room and across our Zoom space as well. So now I'd like to ask Brian, I'm sorry, you already sat down. I'd like to ask Brian to light one final candle for all those who are carrying joys and sorrows that they did not share aloud today. May those who shared sorrows feel them lightened as this community holds your pain. May those who share joys feel that joy doubled as this community rejoices together with you. And now I invite us all into a time of quiet, a time of centering, a time of personal reflection or meditation or prayer. If you have suffered a deep loss in the last year, I invite you to stand or raise your hand during the silence so that the congregation can bear witness to your grief. Spirit of life, Spirit of earth, Spirit of all that breathes and all that is, we love you. We love this planet and its people and its beings. We love this interdependent web of all existence, of which we are all a part. We love it all, and we want it all to be well and blessed and healthy. But we are human, and as people, our hearts can sometimes still be small. So often our love and our sincere desire for the well-being of all is not yet enough to restrain our collective desire for more, for ourselves, more money, more power, more things. So often we act in the service of that desire for more in ways that harm our fellow humans and the countless beings with whom we share this earth. And so often, even when we would do otherwise, we feel powerless. The problems are so big, the scale so enormous. What can one person or one small group really do? But today, let our prayer be for hope and commitment to stay in the struggle and to do what is right as best we can each day and to love you, Spirit of earth and ocean, stars and rocks, beings of every kind, not least our human neighbors, to love this glorious whole as we love ourselves, for we are you and you are us. Blessed be. Amen. Let's remain seated and join in singing number 100 in the gray hymnal, Peace Like a River. The words will be on your screen.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow. I've got pain like an arrow in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops. I've got tears like the raindrops in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Amen. Our middle school kids here at UUCSS created a video for UU Kids for a Livable Planet, a campaign by the Unitarian Universalist Legislative Ministry of Maryland. This campaign was created as a way for children and youth to creatively express their feelings as well as their demands for a secure future, sustainable lifestyles, and environmental protection. We often talk about the climate future in terms of what kind of planet our children and grandchildren will inherit. Today, we have an opportunity to listen to how some of our youth feel about that future.
I'm a UU kid for a livable planet.
I'm a UU kid for a livable planet.
I'm a UU kid for a livable environment.
What is your favorite part of nature?
I don't know, I like the mountains, I like the cool, crisp air, falling, hiking and stuff. Yeah.
What's your favorite part of nature?
My favorite part of nature is plants and flowers because they're really beautiful.
What's your favorite part of nature?
My favorite part of nature is desolate wasteland desert.
What would you miss if everything in nature was destroyed because of mean people?
Well, I do like desolate wasteland, but if everything is a desolate wasteland, nothing is. It's not special. So that's why we should preserve the environment.
What would you do if Maryland passed the bill?
If Maryland passed the bill, I could save all the bugs and the nature I love, and it would be really important. And I wouldn't die. So that's good.
Why should bills be passed that protect the environment? Why would that help make you feel better?
Because then government officials have more power to change things so they can preserve non-desolate wasteland so that desolate wasteland will be special.
And how would bills pass to save the earth?
This
help
bill would be helpful because it could provide the necessary funding for all for maintaining our parks and our nature.
Why is the Maryland environment important to you?
I want to live and not live in a hot, gross environment that sucks.
Why is Maryland's ecosystem's health important to you?
Because they provide so much food for us in crabs and in fish, and if part of the ecosystem went away, then all of our resources could go away too.
Our planet, our future.
I realize a little bit of that video is hard to hear, so I'm sorry about that. I can share a little bit verbally what I heard in the video. Our youth talked about it being important for bills like the bill that I believe was recently passed in the Maryland legislature, hallelujah, that bills like that are important because they will help save nature and that they will help save human and other kinds of life on the planet. And in that video, I heard some talk, sort of apocalyptic thinking almost, thinking about, what is it going to be like if all of these scary things, if we aren't able to prevent them. So sometimes it's zombies or nuclear war. Other times it's a plague or environmental disasters. Whatever the cause, the idea that humanity will go through some sort of apocalypse appears in all sorts of movies and books and TV shows and even video games. It's in Planet of the Apes. It was in the Waterworld movie, The Walking Dead, and even the Star Trek timeline. Yes. 7 years ago, last Friday, 192 countries and the European Union reached the Paris Agreement, which commits those nations to reduce carbon emissions and work together to limit the global increase in temperatures to 2 degrees Celsius over pre-industrial levels. The success of the Paris Agreement has been limited, but it is an example of a global effort to mitigate large-scale climate change impacts, what some might call an apocalypse, or the end of the world as we know it. But the reality is that the world as we know it has ended many times. It ended on 9/11. It ended when the pandemic began. It ended with the January 6th insurrection. The word apocalypse comes from the Greek language, and although some theologians have made a big fuss over poor interpretations of the book of Revelation in the Christian scriptures, apocalypse just means to reveal. It comes from the word in Greek for when you pull the lid off of something. It's the same word. So it's with this in mind that I share these words by activist Rachel Taylor, shared on social media in 2019. She writes, "The real secret of the apocalypse is not that it comes with a bang or a whimper, but that it comes while you're doing other things. Taking the kids to school, paying the bills, going to see your friends play, all the stuff of normal life happens until it doesn't for you. But your neighbor still has to do the laundry and schlep his mom to the grocery store. So you try to keep going and take care of things that are still working, while also trying to fight injustice and stop genocide. You do what you can. Some days it's just surviving. Other days you can put your body between the machine and those more vulnerable than you are. But you can't do that every day until you have to. The secret is that you don't get a break to build a better world. You have to do it while still surviving this one. You have to do it like a secret obsession, like a shameful hobby. You have to do it because it's exciting and dangerous and subversive and necessary. You have to share it with other kinksters like yourself because you're not alone in this wanting, but you still have to do the dishes. Here ends the reading.
Just for a second. Bush and Quartet wants to thank you so much for making us part of your Earth Day observance here. Every time we come back here, we feel like we're home. And we'd like to do something that we did in our winter concert here. When we do it at this time of year, it means something different. It's a song that I wrote called Reed Man, and I wrote it to celebrate the wild, unruly aspect of nature, like a garden gone wild or weeds that take over a building. And at a time when there's so much turmoil and decay in the world, like Kristin was talking about, we can come back from it. We've come back from it over and over again. And this song reminds us of the earth's promise that every period of death and decay will be followed by renewal and rebirth. It'll help it along if we do our part. So this Earth Day, we want to dedicate our song Green Man to all the green warriors out there on the front lines. They are fighting for clean air and water, clean energy, never wavering in the fight against pollution, pesticides, overdevelopment, and global warming. So I want to invite all of you to sing along. How many kids do we have out there today? Kids, raise your hand. You can self-identify. Okay. Kids, it makes Green Man here very, very happy to hear you sing to him. Green Man is the spirit of nature, and today we're going to sing about him. There's a couple places to sing along. It has a refrain and a chorus. So in each verse, Steve's going to sing a phrase, and then you sing with him on the next phrase. He'll go dum bum 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 ba 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 ba, and then you all sing Green Man, King of the Wood. Can you do that? Green Man, King of the Wood. And he'll sing another line, da 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 da, and you sing Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One. Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One. Your turn. Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One. And then the chorus goes, I'll sing one line at a time. Green Man, bless this wood. Green Man, bless this wood. Oak and ash and thorn. Oak and ash and thorn. In Green Man's brotherhood. In Green Man's brotherhood. All will be reborn. All will be reborn. You sound great. We are so ready to do this.
Sacred place, Green Man, King of the Wood, outlines of an ancient face, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, Spirit of the living leaves, Green Man, King of the Wood, in his heart all nature breathes, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, Green Man, bless this wood, oak and ash and thorn, in Green Man's brotherhood, all will be reborn, all will be reborn. Man may build his castles tall, Green Man, King of the Wood, time and tide will see them fall, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, thrusting up through crumbling walls, Green Man, King of the Wood, vines and ivy conquer all, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, Green Man, bless this wood, oak and ash and thorn, in Green Man's brotherhood, all will be reborn, all will be reborn. Once bright holly Christmas day, Green Man, King of the Wood, now a flowering branch of May, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, soon midsummer's sheltering shade, Green Man, King of the Wood, turns to autumn's fiery blaze, Green Man, Wild Man, Wise One, Green Man, bless this wood, oak and ash and thorn, in Green Man's brotherhood, all will be reborn, all will be reborn. falling leaves. Green Man, King of the wood, nature's brethren, do not grieve. Green Man, wild man, wise one, life and death, an endless chain. Green Man, King of the wood, all that falls will rise again. Green Man, wild man, wise one. Green Man, bless this wood, oak and ash and thorn. In Green Man's brotherhood, all will be reborn. All will be reborn. Green Man, bless this wood, oak and ash and thorn. In Green Man's brotherhood, all will be reborn. All will be reborn. All will be
How awesome was that? So as I introduce our next reading, I'd like to invite the young and any young at heart who wish to do so to leave your seats and go back into the rear of the sanctuary and grab a coloring sheet and some crayons. The coloring sheet has some strawberries on it because the reading is about strawberries. So if you would like a coloring sheet to keep your hands busy while I do the reading, just go on back there, and Phyllis has some coloring sheets for you. Awesome. So I'm just going to start telling everyone about the reading while you all go get your sheets and your crayons and come back to your seats. Sometimes in life we have to do two things at the same time, right? Sometimes it's getting things to color during worship. Sometimes it's building a better world while surviving this one, right? Just the other day, I had to stop reading an article about how the national push to start recycling was actually a PR stunt created by big oil companies to frame the issue of waste as a matter of personal choice instead of national policy. I had to stop reading the article because the can that my kid had put into the recycling bin had caused it to overflow. If that's not meta, I don't know what is. The task at hand, especially at the national and global levels, can feel overwhelming. But I'm the mom of 4 kids who will inherit the world those of us who are adults today will leave them. So to echo my colleague, Reverend Molly Hausch-Gordon, I have no interest in despair and no time for fatalism. We don't get a break to build a better world, and that's why we need all of the wisdom and resources we can get to support and nurture and sustain us in this work. Robin Wall Kimmerer combines a lot of important wisdom and resources. In her writing, she wrote a book titled Braiding Sweetgrass: Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. And I'm going to share some excerpts of that with you. She writes, "In a way, I was raised by strawberries, fields of them. You could smell ripe strawberries before you saw them, the fragrance mingling with the smell of sun on damp ground. It was the smell of June, the last day of school when we were set free, and the strawberry moon. My father loves wild strawberries, so for Father's Day, my mother would almost always make him strawberry shortcake. She baked the crusty shortcakes and whipped the heavy cream, but we kids were responsible for the berries. We each got an old jar or two and spent the Saturday before the celebration out in the fields, taking forever to fill them as more and more berries ended up in our mouths. Finally, we returned home and poured them out on the kitchen table to sort out the bugs. I'm sure we missed some, but Dad never mentioned the extra protein. It's funny how the nature of an object, let's say a strawberry or a pair of socks, is so changed by the way it has come into your hands as a gift or as a commodity. The pair of wool socks that I buy at the store, red and gray striped, are warm and cozy. I might feel grateful for the sheep that made the wool and the worker who ran the knitting machine. I hope so, but I have no inherent obligation to those socks as a commodity, as private property. There is no bond beyond the politely exchanged thank yous with the clerk. I have paid for them, and our reciprocity ended the minute I handed her the money. The exchange ends once parity has been established, an equal exchange. They become my property. I don't write a thank you note to J.C. Penney. From the viewpoint of a private property economy, the gift is deemed to be free because we obtain it free of charge at no cost. But in the gift economy, gifts are not free. The essence of the gift is that it creates a set of relationships. The currency of a gift economy is, at its root, reciprocity. In Western thinking, private land is understood to be a bundle of rights, whereas in a gift economy, property has a bundle of responsibilities attached. How in our modern world can we find our way to understand the earth as a gift again? To make our relations with the world sacred again? I know we cannot all become hunter-gatherers. The living world could not bear our weight. But even in a market economy, can we behave as if the living world were a gift, with all of the relationships and obligations that entails? Here ends the reading.
Well, speaking of money, here at UCSS, we give and receive an offering because it offers us the chance every week to practice generosity, right? So much in our society is geared towards the pursuit of profit or transitional relationships, where we pay a fee for a given service. This, now here I go, congregation is one place where we come to remember that the relationships go so much deeper than any transaction. This is a community rooted in the faith claim that we are worth unspeakably more than we could ever produce, that this planet gives us so much, and that it's good for our hearts to share the abundance that we receive from this earth. As you can see on the screen, there are many ways you can give to UCSS. If you're here in person, you can also place your offering in the offering plates as it's passed around. The offering will now be given and received with gratitude.
Springtime's message does away winter's cold and winter's sway. Out of darkness brings our day. So behold, all the gates of heaven unfold. Flora reigns in beauty dressed, decked with flowers at her breast. All will bloom at her behest. So behold, all the gates of heaven unfold. Sing rebirth with every breath. Spring makes clear there is no death. All will waken from victor's sway. Out of darkness brings our day. So behold, all the gates of heaven unfold.
For the last 6 weeks or so, a handful of volunteers on our annual budget drive committee have given a lot of their time, their skills, their good humor, some of their sleep, and commitment to this community to invite all of us to practice generosity in the form of making a financial pledge for the next church year. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Tamara Bowman up to the pulpit to share with us how the pledge drive has gone, how much you all have pledged to support this congregation next year.
Coffee is life.
Amen.
Yes. Today marks the official end of this year's ABD. The ABD co-chairs, myself, Teresa Meeks, Dina Rayleigh, and Pat Scheid, would like to thank everyone who has already pledged and all of our stewards who've worked to make sure everyone was contacted. If you have somehow not been contacted by your steward, please contact abdchairs@uucss.org and we will figure this out. Now, the winner of our sustaining donors to choose a sermon topic with Reverend Kristin is Nancy and Matthew Doherty. Please see Reverend Kristin to claim your prize. Now to the numbers. As of last night, we have reached $383,974, which is a big number. That is 80% of our goal, and oddly enough, represents 80% of our congregation. And we did think about that. Yes, and you will notice we didn't quite get our third scoop, but we did get the Ghirardelli dark chocolate scoop, which is the best one. Now, there are still households that have not filled out their pledge forms. We did not get our entire third scoop, as I just said, but everyone still gets ice cream today. Okay. The ice cream truck arrives about 11:45. As you entered the parking lot, you probably saw where we intend to have it, and there will be music, and I hope you guys brought chairs, and everyone is invited to join us. Everyone is invited to finish their pledges. Thank you.
Now don't go back to your seat. Put the poster down. Okay. Now, if you served this year as a visiting steward, will you please raise your hand so that we can thank you? And if you, yay, thank you so much. Finally, I think it's time for all of us to express our gratitude to Tamara Bowman, Pat Scheid, Nadine Rayleigh, and Teresa Meeks. If you're here, would you please come forward? Teresa, Tamara, and Nadine, I think they're probably outside, huh? We have some beautiful native plants here for you to take home and a little thank you card. So on your way out of the sanctuary, please take the thank you. We are so thankful for everyone who helps to make this congregation possible. This is such a beautiful community, and it takes even collecting money to make that happen. All right. I am also really glad to officially welcome 2 new staff members, only one of whom sadly could be here today. Dominique Robinson Coleman serves as our RE coordinator. We believe she has COVID, so she decided to stay home today, but hopefully we'll be able to welcome her officially at a service in the future. But right now, I'd like to invite Jeanette Jackson to come forward. Jeanette serves, yes, yay, hallelujah. Jeanette serves as our office administrator. Jeanette holds a BA from Howard University in English with a minor in theater arts. Before beginning her work with us, Jeanette served as office manager of a law firm protecting consumer rights. And before that, she worked at the Washington office of the Unitarian Universalist Association. How awesome is that? Jeanette is proud mom and grandmother, and like so many other UUCSSers, has a love of Star Trek. Yeah. We found another one. Jeanette joined the UUCSS staff team last month and is getting up to speed on the many and varied responsibilities of her office administrator position. Please join me in welcoming Jeanette to UUCSS.
I'm really happy to be here.
Please stick around after the service to introduce yourself, say hello, and welcome Jeanette to UUCSS. Thanks, Jeanette. Our church is not only the organization that puts together these services, we're a vibrant community of volunteers and staff, a member of the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Association, and a part of the global UU denomination. Visitors are... Just kidding, that part I shouldn't say. Today, we have 4 announcements. First, after you enjoy an ice cream from the truck that the annual budget drive committee has so generously provided for us to celebrate the end of the ABD, kids are invited to come to the Green Sanctuary table where they can help with planting bulbs around our church campus today. And what a beautiful day for it. Second, after today's bulb planting and ice cream party, anyone who is available and would like to is invited to join me at the Chevy Chase Library at 2 o'clock for a rally for affordable housing. This is an opportunity to model the future of Montgomery County by mixing affordable housing and a public facility in one location near transit services, amenities, and jobs. How awesome would it be to have a bunch of affordable housing for families above a library? Wouldn't that be great? Our third announcement is about General Assembly, the annual business meeting and gathering for fellowship, worship, and reflection of the Unitarian Universalist Association. This year, the meeting is hybrid, held both on-site in Portland, Oregon, and online from June 22nd to 26th. The UUA recently announced that Dr. Ibram X. Kendi will deliver the Ware Lecture on June 25th. Yeah. Dr. Kendi is the author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, including How to Be an Anti-Racist, and the National Book Award-winning Stamped from the Beginning, A Definitive History of Racist Ideas in America. The business agenda at General Assembly includes 2 resolutions on revisions of the UUA bylaws described in last Thursday's all-church email, so be sure to check that out. The Article 2 Study Commission, which is drafting revisions to the principles and purposes of the UUA, will provide opportunities during GA to learn about and discuss its work, including consideration of the 8th principle, which our congregation already adopted last year. UUCSS may designate up to 5 attendees, in person in Portland or virtual, as delegates, which means they're granted official voting privileges on behalf of the church. Just like if you're a member of this church and you come to the annual meeting and you get to vote at the annual meeting, if you become a delegate of the congregation, you can vote at General Assembly. It's our goal that our delegates be fully representative of the membership of UUCSS. Please see me, or you can email the board at board@uucss.org if you're interested in becoming a delegate. Fees are lower if you register by next Saturday. Also, if the cost of registration is holding you back, please let me know. There is financial assistance available. This is a wonderful opportunity to learn more about our denomination and be part of shaping its future. Finally, our final announcement is about summer worship here at UUCSS. If you are interested in leading a Sunday service about a song or a band or a symphony or an opera or some kind of music that has shaped your life or shaped your sense of spirituality or ethics, please come and let me know. All service leaders will have the support of a worship associate, tech director, sound volunteer, and musicians. Send me an email or find me after the service if you'd like to learn more. Pretty please. Now, before we sing our final hymn and go out and have that ice cream, you may be wondering what on earth this is. As we prepare to leave this sacred time and space today, as we conclude our financial pledge drive, I want to invite us all to think about another kind of pledge that we can make today. None of us can save the world by ourselves, and we have to do the work while washing the dishes. So let's think about one thing we can each pledge to do from now until next Earth Day to help this planet. How can you do one thing differently that will help you treat the living world as if it were a gift? In a moment, we're going to rise in body, voice, and spirit to join in singing our closing hymn. And once the music begins, I invite anyone who wishes to come forward, take one of the strips of fabric, and write your pledge to the earth on it. And you can see I did mine, and I tied mine to the tree. You can do that, or you can just leave it on the table, and I'll tie it on the tree later on. If you wish, you can also wait until the service is over and come do it then. Now, let's rise in body, voice, and spirit. Join in singing 1064 in the Teal Songbook, Blue Boat Home, and in making our pledges to the earth.
That's okay. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat Sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, made the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. My universe is the ocean I travel, in my earth is our blue
Please join me in the words of chalice extinguishing. Carry the flame of peace and love until we meet again. Friends, the wide universe is the ocean we travel, and the earth is our blue boat home. So let's cherish it. Let's treat it as the gift it really is. Our worship now has ended, and our service begins. Let's hear some great music and eat some ice cream.
Thank you.